I have two very special guests, both of which are actually from the Tri-City Americans. Forward Andrew Fan and Jalen Luypen will be joining me later on today, and I'm really excited for you guys to watch what they have to say. Before that, however, I do usually do a brief recap over the WHL, the current standings, the current points, and everything there. Just because of time's sake, I will not be doing that today. However, I do want to correct something that I had mistaken last week. I went over the top players of the week as I usually do, but I also went over the player of the month and the players of the month. And so I got those wrong. Those were from December, and the WHL just hadn't announced that January's just yet. So for January's, I do want to correct those. The WHL player of the month last month for January was Connor Bedard of the Regina Pats. And then the WHL goalie of the month was Connor Unger of the Moose Jaw Warriors. And then the rookie of the month of the WHL was the Prince Albert Raiders, Ryder Ritchie. And then just a quick recap over each of the standings. For the East Division, Winnipeg Ice are in first. The Central Division, Red Deer Rebels are in first. U.S. Division, Seattle Thunderbirds are in first. And for BC Division, the Kamloops Blazers are in first. So make sure that if you want to stay tuned with the WHL stats and standings, of course, you can always visit their website, or you can tune in with me every week on Tuesday, and I will be discussing those in depth next episode as well. So feel free to come back next Tuesday, and we'll be able to go over those and do a nice recap. But for now, because of the two guests that I mentioned earlier, we are not going to do that this week, and we're just going to go ahead and jump right into those wonderful interviews with these two wonderful players. Thanks. Hi, welcome. So today I have Tri-City Americans forward joining me, Andrew Fan. So welcome on. Right now, the Americans are fourth in the Western Conference, just recently overtaking the Everett Silvertips in the standings. Talk to me a bit about that. What have you and the team been focusing on this year?
I think just this year, just getting better. Obviously last year it was a down year for us, and I think that this year we are much better. I think we've worked on a lot of things to get here and get where we are today. So, another thing is our power play has been really hot, and yeah, we've been really good this year.
Absolutely. It's your first full year with the AMs. You netted your first goal earlier this year, a couple more since then. Tell me a bit about this year. How's it been going for you personally?
Oh, it's been awesome. Just getting back from injury and just playing a full season. Definitely really missed it.
Yeah.
And it's been really exciting. To play in the Western Hockey League. It's a big honor. So yeah.
Awesome. Love it. Now, I'm sure fans can describe it for you, but for those who may not follow you as closely, describe your game for them.
I like to say I'm a power forward. I like to get in the dirty areas. I like to play down low, and just kind of try to set my teammates, just kind of do the dirty work.
Yeah. What got you into the sport? When did you first start playing?
So my older brother actually got me into the sport. He actually first started playing. He was first in the family, and I just kind of followed him, and yeah, I've been here ever since.
Nice. Did you play any other sports growing up, or was it just hockey?
I actually played football and soccer.
Nice.
I remember when I was younger, I used to play all three at the same time, and
wow.
that was super tiring. I used to come to hockey practice with bruises on my arms from football. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have a favorite NHL team growing up?
Yeah, it's actually the New Jersey Devils.
Nice.
It was short version of it. I wanted a fair NHL team, and I was playing NHL 11.
Mm-hmm.
I just clicked the randomize button 100 times, and then landed on the Devils. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Love it. Awesome. And speaking of like the Devils or just anybody in the NHL, right? Are there any specific players that you maybe model your game after or just really look up to?
Yeah. I don't really model my game after anyone. Just try to be myself.
Awesome.
But I love watching guys like McKinnon play, who are just absolutely electrical and just just so good, and it's just super fun to watch them play.
Absolutely. Now, I started asking this question a couple episodes back, and I always like to see y'all's responses. One thing that I'm working on as somebody who's I only really got into hockey within the past few years, right? I didn't grow up with it like you or other players have. So going from casual fan who watches it, the game at face value, to somebody who really understands the sport and talks it, what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to develop their hockey IQ from the spectator standpoint?
I think just watching more hockey really. There are also like film you can watch too. But yeah, there's a lot of like things that happen on the ice. You know, as a hockey player, you might not see as a spectator. It's a lot of little things. So I just kind of catching those little things and trying to understand it.
Yeah, nice. Now looking from at the Americans roster in Tri-City, who do you think would be an underrated teammate that fans should keep an eye on this year?
I mean, there are a lot of those guys on the team,
Sure.
really, but I think this year, I think Carter Savage is really, I think he's really developed into a really good D man. He's been really solid and a key part of this team this year. So definitely keep an eye out for 21.
Awesome, sounds good. And now kind of same kind of question, but a bit different. Who on the team would you least want to play against? Could be a goalie you can't score on, a wicked forward,
Ooh,
things like that.
it's definitely Marc Lajoie.
Okay.
He is just absolutely locked down in practice. Like, not gonna beat him on a one-on-one. He's just so dang good. So,
Love that. And then who are you closest to on the team? Who are you closest to?
um, I was pretty close to Ben Feenan. He did get traded,
Right.
but now I'd probably have to say Jake Sloan.
Nice.
Pretty good buddies with him. So,
Yeah. And now you mentioned the injury earlier, and also just getting into the WHL, new league, everything. What advice would you give your last season self?
I would probably just say keep working hard. You know, all the opportunities are going to come, and just keep doing what you're doing. Stick to your game. Don't try to change it, and just be yourself.
Yeah, really great. For playing against all the different teams, of course, last year we had just the Western Conference, right? Now we're doing Eastern Conference. So far, who's been your favorite team to play against? Not necessarily the away rink or anything, but the team itself. Which has been your favorite?
Definitely Spokane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're rivals, so it's super fun to play against them. You know, it gets really intense, and you know, it gets really chippy in the game, and I think you know that's why it's probably the most fun. So.
Yeah. Who or what would you say, kind of again bouncing off the last one, is your favorite rink to play in? Which team in the whole league do you think has the best rink?
Oh, that's tough. I haven't been to too many rinks, but I'd probably have to say Everett or Seattle. They
Okay.
have they have such an amazing fan base, and they have such nice rinks too. So
Yeah.
definitely one of those two.
Absolutely. Looking at you as a player, right, in your game day routine, do you have any superstitions or rituals that you got to follow each game day?
Yeah, actually, there's tons. I always show up to the rink 2 hours and a half before.
Mhm.
I always tape my stick right after we have, or right before a team meeting. Just the little things like same stretch every game, the same routine every game. So
Nice. Yeah. Would you are you a pregame nap guy? Are you on that team?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's sometimes it can be an hour, sometimes it can be three. So yeah, definitely a big pregame nap guy.
Love it. What about coffee? Do you like coffee before games, or is that something?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm not a big coffee guy. A lot of the guys on the team are, but yeah, I'm definitely not one of them.
Do you prefer tea, or is there another go-to drink you got, or is it just kind of water all day?
Maybe, you know, just usually water and Gato. Just those two. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. And I'm sure you have some great things to pick from, but what would you say is your favorite or your best hockey memory?
Best hockey memory. Um, Definitely when I was back when I played mites.
Hmm.
Um, we ended up going to the state championship game, and we won that.
Love
Um, yeah, and that was just being a little kid, winning that, it was such an awesome feeling. So
Yeah, absolutely. And now just kind of shift into more like fun questions that aren't necessarily hockey
yeah.
related. A couple of them are, but not as serious, I guess. Who on the team would you say has the best locker room music?
What's that?
Who on the team would have the best locker room music?
Ooh, that's hard. We have a couple guys who play music. It's gonna have to go to Jalen Luypen. He's definitely got some banger songs in there. It's awesome.
Nice. I'm bringing him on after you, actually. So
Yeah.
perfect. I'll tell him you complimented him. Who would you say has the worst music, though? Is there somebody who you just can't stand?
I don't have to say it, but it's definitely gonna have to be Nick Avakian. Love him though. I love him. So
Of course.
yeah.
Love it. What is your nickname on the team? What did everybody call you?
Fanner.
Fanner, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Do you have any other nicknames, or is it just that one?
No, just that one. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's simple. So
Nice. Sorry, what was that?
no, it was just that. So
Gotcha. So you mentioned earlier playing hockey and a couple other sports growing up. But if you weren't playing hockey, is there another sport you would want to go into? Is there a job that you want to pursue? What would you want to do if you weren't playing hockey?
I think I'd want to play football. I'm a big football guy. Love watching football. Big fantasy football guy too. I grew up playing football too, so I think that or golf too. I love playing golf.
Nice.
I'm not great, but it's definitely super fun to play. So.
Sure. Yeah. This is one of my favorite questions. If you were stranded on a desert island, which teammate would you pick to help you survive?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I think I'd say Ethan Ernst.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the most mature out of all of us.
Nice.
He gets the job done. He's a good leader, so I definitely would count on him to help me get out of that situation. So
yeah. Who would you say would get you killed the quickest?
definitely Lucas Dragicevic.
Okay.
Definitely. What's that?
Why is that?
He's just, he's such an awesome guy. He just loves to have fun a little too much sometimes. He can be a little too sarcastic sometimes. So
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure I know the answer to this one. I have not gotten a single player who has answered this differently, but are you a cat or a dog person?
Okay, that's hard. Up until probably a year ago, definitely say dog person, but I don't know. It's kind of a toss up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly everybody says dog. I'm still waiting for a solid cat answer because I'm definitely a cat person myself.
Yeah.
I love both of them for sure. Like absolutely. But yeah, cats are. Do you have any pets at home or is it?
No, I don't. They don't have any pets at home, but I recently just got to like play with cats and stuff, and they're such a personality, and it's so awesome. So
absolutely love it. And then my mom actually was the one to supply this question for me a few episodes back, and I've just asked everybody since. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
probably the 100.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely the 100.
What would your strategy be going into that?
Use my feet, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe use my feet, give it a nice little kick. So that would be my strategy.
Amazing. And then Mary with the Americans actually told me to ask you about your family's restaurant in Anchorage and what's your favorite thing on the menu there?
Ooh, I actually get asked this question a lot.
Oh yeah,
nice. I think I'd have to go with the lao mein. It's just it's a noodle. It's a noodle with just like a bunch of noodles and veggies in it. So yeah, that's definitely really good.
That's great. I mentioned earlier I'm bringing on Jalen right after. Yeah. What's a question that you would ask him? If you could ask him anything, what would you want to ask him?
Ooh, kind of hard. Um, I think it'd be really interesting is just asking him, about his year last year. I think he went really far, obviously. So he has a lot of experience in, winning.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool question to ask.
Sure. Yeah. And then I did ask a couple. I asked fans to send in questions for you and whoever comes on each episode. So Tanner wants to know, what's your favorite part of playing for the Americans?
Um, Definitely playing in front of the fans. That is it's such an unreal experience. Especially when it's a packed house, and it's against Spokane. It's such a fun time. It gets so loud and crazy in there. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Marcus wants to know, have you ever tried dekes or stick handling moves exactly done by players in the NHL?
Oh yeah, definitely. All the time. I definitely want to try the Michigan. I feel like that'd be really cool. But
100%.
Yeah, definitely there are tons of moves that I watch and want to do and try. So
nice. Alex wants to know, what would be the coolest or funniest animal to scale up to the size of a horse?
Ooh, size of a horse?
Yeah.
Maybe like a frog.
No, I like that. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. That'd be kind of terrifying.
Yeah, definitely.
There's oh my gosh, I don't even remember the name of it. There's a movie that I just saw recently. I think it had it had one of the actors that my sister loves. But there was it's like radioactive, like apocalypse movie kind of thing where all the animals get sized up and there's this giant frog who I can't. Oh, it's gonna bug me until later, and I'm probably gonna remember it at like 2 a.m. and shoot up out of bed and be like, "Oh yeah, that movie." Oh, it's gonna bug me now. Sorry. So Tracy wants to know, what's your favorite pizza?
Ooh. I think Meat Lovers. Meat Lovers is really good.
Nice.
Might be a toss up between that and Hawaiian.
Yeah, you're a pineapple on pizza kind of guy?
Yeah, I know it's pretty controversial, but yeah, I think pineapple is really good on pizza. So
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned earlier Devils being your favorite team. Now, Hallie wants to know, pick two players to the two best players from the Devils, right? You have to trade one and keep the other. Who are you trading and why?
Ooh. So I get to pick one and then I have to trade one?
Right.
Ooh. Well, I think I'm definitely picking Jack Hughes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an absolute superstar. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
And
another really good player who you got to trade.
Really good player. I'm probably trading Dougie Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
It's a hard one, but there are other guys on the team who are younger and who are probably just as good, I think. So
yeah, would you send him back to Carolina, or where would you like to see him play?
Ooh, definitely not in the same division.
Okay, there you
go. Division, maybe somewhere in the Pacific. So
cool. Yeah. Last but not least for you, then I'll let you go. What's the message you have for Americans fans?
Just keep enjoying the season. I hope they're all having fun. It's so much fun playing in front of them, and hopefully go super far in playoffs this year too. So
yeah. Awesome. I'll be rooting for you. And you're great. And go Americans.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time too.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now I have with me Tri-City Americans forward Jalen Luypen. Welcome on. Super excited to have you here. So as I was talking, because I had your teammate Andrew Fan on earlier, as I was chatting with him about the Americans are now 4th in the Western Conference, just recently overtaken the Everett Silvertips. Talk to me a bit about that. What are you and the team focusing on this season?
Yeah, I think just the second half, we knew it was going to be a really tough push for that last kind of spot in just for a home ice advantage kind of look in the playoffs. I think knowing last year and playing in the playoffs, that's a huge thing you need. You need home ice advantage. It's important. And that's just kind of been our main focus, is just playing consistent hockey and knowing the second half of the season is really like playoff hockey. Really, every game is a battle, and teams now are fighting for spots in the standings every night, and every game matters really. And when you're playing teams like Everett, it's a 4-point night every night, and you need those games, and those are the ones that really matter. And you can tell in the locker room, guys are definitely more focused and more ready for those divisional matchups, and it's exciting just to see the guys get amped up and get excited for games now. It's cool to see, and it's nice. It's just a nice vibe in the locker room for sure.
Awesome. I love that. It's your first year with the Americans in Tri-City after playing with Edmonton. I know it's old news, but tell me a bit about the trade going into Tri-City, adjusting to the new team.
Yeah, just in the summer, getting that phone call and getting told I was getting sent out west, it was definitely excitement. I definitely didn't really know what was out here with COVID and everything. I haven't played in the Western Conference side since I was 16 years old, and
Right.
knowing not a whole lot, and just taking a look at the roster, I saw they had a good roster. They had a lot of depth, and playing with a D-man like Lucas, it's pretty phenomenal to play with a offensive talent like that. He thrives every night, and when he has a puck on his stick, he's dangerous everywhere. And him and to have Parker Vellon to just a chance to play with him every night, it's awesome. It's fun. He's an exceptional player. You don't see a lot of guys his side with his speed, and we have depth in this team, and that's what you need definitely in the WHL. You need depth every night, and just to have us be able to roll 4 lines every night, it's nice. And it's nice. It's different coming from Edmonton Tri-City. Obviously, you're playing in Rogers Place, and now you're playing in a junior barn, which is funner at times. You got more passionate American fans who definitely get into it more. You can hear them cheering you on, and letting the refs know at times, and it's just definitely fun playing in front of these fans, and it's definitely been a blast for so far.
I love that. That's really great. What eventually, so going back to like when you were first getting into the sport, what got you into hockey? How old were you?
I think my grandpa started putting me on skates when I was 3. Both my parents played college basketball, actually, so my grandpa was really the only person in my family who played hockey. So he was the one who really wanted to have a grandson to play hockey. So he pushed my parents very hard, and he was a big part of that. And growing up, he was always at my games. He was always texting me after them, and yeah, we have pictures back home on the wall of me up on the pond with him pushing me around, and it's definitely a core memory I have with him.
I love that. Did you play any other sports growing up, or was it just hockey?
I love soccer growing up. I definitely enjoyed playing soccer in the summers. I definitely, being kind of a smaller, fast guy, I just loved running around the pitch. And then obviously having my parents play basketball, they obviously had me play basketball. In middle school, I was lucky enough to have my dad coach me, which was kind of fun as well. So it was nice. And then when it was time to make a decision, my mom kind of sat me down, and it was like, you either got to play hockey or soccer. And I was definitely more invested at hockey and loved hockey way more. So it was an easy choice, and it's just been hockey ever since.
Yeah, great choice for sure. Did you have a favorite NHL team growing up?
It was the Oilers. I was a big fan of Jordan Eberle growing up. He was my first NHL jersey, and just in that era when they had Hall and Nugent Hopkins, all those young guys, it was just a team growing up that I really liked watching and stuck with, and it was cool to be a part of that kind of organization, and then kind of see what the Oilers organization is actually like was pretty cool.
Awesome. And then especially with the 2021 draft and a bunch of scouting reports and people looking at your style of play and such, definitely people, and I could probably even answer this for you, but for those who may not follow you as closely, describe your game for them.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely a two-way forward who definitely a smaller guy, but isn't afraid of anything. Kind of, I describe myself as a Brandon Hagel type player, just produces offense, but definitely really reliable in the defensive zone, and just isn't afraid of contact, likes to go into the dirty areas and stir up the pot. And that's just who I am, and I bring a lot of energy in and out of the locker room, and I'm just a fun guy to be around, and I enjoy the game, and I just love being on the ice, and you'll always see me with a smile no matter what.
I love that. That's so good. Now going into your 20-year-old, your age your year, kind of sad to think about, but tell me a bit about your mindset going into last year in the WHL. What have you got going on after? I know the signing with the Blackhawks and everything, which is congratulations, by the way. But tell me a bit about plans going forward.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think just knowing it's my last year, I'm just trying to clean up my game as best as possible. Just get me ready for a faster game, a stronger game. Because after this, I'm not playing boys anymore. I'm playing grown men, and I'm just trying to fully develop my game the best I can. Just fix and tweak my game, and just get me fully ready and get me fully developed for my pro career. And just I'm very excited to have the opportunity to go into Chicago and show what I can do, and just bring my talents into them, and just try and work my way up. I know it's going to be a hard route, and my route's never been easy. I've always been given the little straw, so I'm excited for it. But I just looking to have a great last year in the WHL, and just enjoy my time here, and just have a blast for sure.
Yeah, it's a really great mindset to have. Now, talking about the Americans, playing for them, looking at their roster specifically, who would you say is an underrated teammate that more fans should keep an eye on?
I honestly just think our captain, Marc Lajoie. He doesn't put up those numbers, but he's just so reliable in the defensive zone. He takes care of business. He's strong. He can push over anyone, and he's just not scared. Every shot he sees, he's going down for, and he's blocking. He's a selfless player, and he's just a great guy off the ice. Definitely one of those guys that definitely deserves to wear a C on his jersey, and he's just an all-around good guy on and off the ice.
Nice. Now, that's a great answer. Now, kind of bouncing off of that, similar question, but a bit different. Who's a teammate you would least want to play against?
I'd probably have to go with our goalie, Tommy. Just an exceptional talent. Just even the way he plays is just a different style. Loves to play the puck. Phenomenal at it, and just how athletic he is. He's a reason why we have a very good record, and we're winning games right now. And just an exceptional guy, and a very funny guy as well.
He is. He's a joy. Who would you say are your closest to on the team? Coming into a new roster, getting to know the new guys. Who's your favorite? Or not favorite, but like who are you closest to?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Being on a new team after being in Edmonton for 4 years, and you're 20 years old. It's kind of different. It's interesting going in the locker room, but I think it was easy. All the guys welcomed me pretty nicely, and it was pretty easy transition for me. And I think just the 20-year-olds and Ernst and Belton helped me out the most, just made me feel comfortable. And obviously you get that bond when you're with the 20-year-olds. When you're playing in the last league, you always find you three just having those group conversations in the back of the bus. So I think those two are definitely my closest friends, and just the talks we have and the moments we're having right now are definitely fun and are enjoyable.
Nice, love that. And so earlier you mentioned coming into the side of the league that you haven't played on, right, since you were 16, and getting back into playing those other teams. Looking at both Eastern and Western Conference, who is your favorite team to play against?
For out here, it'd probably be Kelowna, just because that's my hometown, and any chance you get to go play at home with your family that are watching, you obviously just get a little extra boost in your step. I know when I know my family's in the crowd, I always want to have a great game for them. So playing in Kelowna is always nice. And out east, I always just enjoyed playing Red Deer. I think there's nothing better than a good rivalry, and we always had close games with them. My whole career, I think we always had close battles, 16 to 19. It was just always hard-fought games, and games that you were easily rolling out of bed for because those were the good ones, and definitely had some fun times playing them.
Awesome. And so earlier you mentioned you mentioned the Oilers being a favorite team of yours and some players that you looked up to or that you admired. Do you model your or style your play after any particular players?
Yeah, like I said before, I think Brandon Hagel. I think
Right.
that's like the one main guy. When it was my draft year, that was the guy I tried to model. That was the guy I was telling NHL teams, if you're looking for that guy, that's the guy I model my game after. That's the guy who I want to be. And then just that, I always joke a little bit of a Brad Marchand, but the not looking part. Just the nosy, chirpy guy who loves to get in your face and stir the pot, but I promise I won't lick your face and get up close to you or anything like that.
That's hilarious. I love that. Yeah, always the more like pesty players are always my favorite to watch. They're just so entertaining. So that's great. Looking at average game day, either home or away, are there any like superstitions or rituals that you got to follow?
I try not to be superstitious. I try not to let something ruin my routine or try and ruin my mindset. So I'm just a big nap guy. If I can get a nap before a game, I know I'm gonna play good because I'm well rested. So anytime I can find a nap, you'll usually find me sleeping. But other than that, it's having a good nap and just getting ready for the game, really.
Perfect. You answered my follow-up question, which was, are you a pregame nap guy? So that's perfect. Are you with that? Are you also a pregame coffee guy, or not on that?
Yeah, definitely for sure. I definitely wake up from my nap, eat quickly, and then I go to the same coffee spot out here and get the exact same thing every day. So
what do you get? What's your order?
It's shaken espresso with oat milk.
Nice. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then last like hockey related question, then we'll go into more of the fun unrelated questions. So what is your best hockey memory? Obviously you have a bunch of choices to pick from like the Memorial Cup, getting drafted, signing, even more. So tell me about your favorite, the most best hockey memory for you.
Well, honestly, it's pretty easy. I think there's nothing better than winning the WHL. I think with those guys that I was with, most of those guys I played with for 4 years, 3 years, and the bond we made and the friendships, like, it was the best time of my life. I can close my eyes and just remember it so vividly, and just sitting on the bench in those last 10 seconds, counting it down and just hugging everyone. It was just such a relief, and all those chances and knowing how good of a team we were, and COVID not giving us a chance for 2 years, and just knowing we finally reached our end goal. It was a surreal experience and something that's gonna affect me for my rest of my lifetime. It was awesome playing with those guys, and best time of my career so far, and I don't think anything's gonna beat it for a while.
Love that. Now going into those more unrelated questions rather than like the specifically hockey ones. Looking at the AMS roster, who do you think on the team has the best locker room music?
I can't say myself, right? So if it's not me, I'll give it to Mark.
Okay.
Mark Lajoie.
Nice. Andrew said you. So I wanted to let you know that.
He always comments, "Loops, your music's great today."
I love that.
I appreciate it.
That's so good. Who's the worst music though? Who do you like? You just don't like?
Nicovakian.
That was also Andrew's answer.
Yeah, he always gets booted off real quick if we find he's on it.
That's funny. What does he play? I didn't even think to ask Andrew. What does he play?
Like, he tries to play what he thinks we want. So he just plays like the most common, like Little Baby, or like the most popular rap song out there at like 9 a.m, and it's just not it.
Love that. So you mentioned with you just said one with what Andrew calls you, but what are some of your nicknames on your team? What do the guys call you?
My nickname is Loops. I think growing up, everyone mispronounced my last name and thought it was Luypen over Luypen. So, and it just kind of stuck, and I kind of honestly like the way it sounds better.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
it's not bad. And then that's the basically one we got. We're kind of basic team. I don't think we're not very creative. I gotta be honest.
That's funny. So it is Luypen and not Lupin, right? It is Luypen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because Andrew said Lupin, and I was like, that's when I was confused because I was like,
Exactly.
what?
It's been that my whole life, so I won't really care if it gets mispronounced.
That's funny. Well, I'll make sure that I get it right. So if you weren't playing hockey, what would you want to do with your life? What profession would you want to go into?
Probably a professional golfer.
Okay.
I'd have to get a lot better,
Sure.
but just to play golf and get paid,
Right.
nice life.
For sure. One of my favorite questions is next. If you were stranded on a desert island, which teammate would you pick to help you survive?
To help me survive,
Mm-hmm.
probably Ethan Peters.
Okay.
Yeah,
So just
very smart.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Who would get you killed the quickest?
Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy.
Why is that?
I just think he'd just get frustrated with the situation we're in and just sit down, crisscross applesauce in frustration and hope for the best.
I love that. Love that. It's funny because like the more I hear about him, like that makes sense. Because like when I asked, because he was on the show back in October, I asked him. One of the fan questions we had for him was, what was it? It's like, which NHL goalie would you beat in a fight? And he was like, all of them, 100%. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I already asked. So I have a couple questions that you just like have already answered. So I'm trying not to ask you a double question here. Okay, so for this one, I 100% sure that I know your answer for this, and I haven't, except for Andrew. Andrew kind of threw me off a bit. Would you say you are a cat or a dog person?
He really said he's a cat person?
He said he was a dog person, but then he's like kind of leaning more towards cats recently.
That's so weird. I'm gonna let him know tomorrow about it. That's not okay. I'm a dog person for sure. I got 2 dogs at home, and I got one here at my billet house. So
nice. Love that. What are your dogs' names?
Nitro and Shade.
Perfect. Those are great. What kind of dogs are they? I could talk about dogs.
They're coon hounds.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yeah, a couple howlers.
Perfect. Okay. I bet. And now this question, I love asking because my mom was actually the one that supplied this to me a few interviews back, and so I've asked everybody since. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
100 horse-sized ducks.
Duck-sized horses.
Yeah.
If there's 100 horse-sized ducks, that's a lot of ducks. They're huge.
Yeah, no, the small one.
There you go.
I just start swinging my feet.
Amazing. That's an image. That's really funny. And then I asked Andrew to ask you a question, and he said to just tell us a bit about your time in Edmonton last year and some memories that you got there and coming into this year.
Yeah, I think kind of just knowing going into last year it was our last chance at everything, and knowing the kind of the team we had built around by the end of the deadline, we had the best opportunity ever, really. And just like the group of guys we had, I've never been closer with a team. Like every night, no matter what we were doing, there was 5 or 6 of us watching hockey, watching The Bachelor, just watching something on TV. And it was just awesome to be around. Just every day we were going into the rink happy and enjoying it, and that's what it's all about. You got to want to come into the rink every day, and just all those memories. I can laugh about it now, just thinking about Simon Kubicek walk into the rink, probably best, like the funniest guy hands down I've ever met in my life. Like craziest European, like stereotypical Euro, like amazing guy. And just like all the memories, like
Yeah.
we just hung out so many times every week, and just to win with a group like that, it's like awesome. And like we still talk every day. I don't think we go a day without talking in our group chat. So
That's good.
definitely gonna be at all those guys' weddings, and they're definitely gonna be at mine.
That's so good. I love that so much. And now into fan questions, where I've asked people to send in questions for the guys that bring on the show. So Tanner wants to know, what's your favorite part of playing for the Americans?
My favorite part of playing for the Canadians is in the third period at the final timeout when we played Connie Joe.
Okay.
And everyone I remember my first game there. I wasn't playing because I was injured at the time, and no recognition what's going on. And it's a sold out crowd because a home opener.
Yeah.
And they play Connie Joe, and everyone in the crowd takes their shirts off and starts flinging it in the air.
Yeah.
And I'm just up there in the crowd, like first game, never even know, like sitting by myself, just in awe. Like,
oh my god!
It was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen. Just like how passionate, like how excited all these kids get for it is like insane. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard stories about like fans going to it because I haven't been to in Tri-City yet. Like, because I live out in Everett, so I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't made the trek over to Kennewick yet, but I've heard stories of fans going there who haven't necessarily seen the team over there before.
Yeah.
Like the fans taking off their shirts and stuff. That's cool. Yeah, especially not knowing that coming in. Just
but like no, their fans are great. I think it's just different because when you're playing in Edmonton, you're just getting like little kids who don't really know what it's about. They're just screaming their head off because they're at a hockey game.
Yeah.
And down here, you actually get a lot of passionate older fans who just care a lot more, and it's just easier to play. It boosts you for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Marcus wants to know, have you ever tried deeks or stick handling moves exactly done by players in the NHL?
Oh, all the time for sure. I think at the end of practice, just always, hey Tommy, 3 shootout moves, and it's just the 3 shootout moves that I recently saw in the past week to see if I can actually do them or if it's too hard for me to do. So
nice. Alex wants to know, this one has kind of stumped a few people before, so I don't know. Hopefully you'll have something. What's the funniest joke you know by heart?
Funniest joke I know by heart.
I wouldn't be able to answer it, so if you can't, no problem.
Try to think of what someone's told me that's just funny that stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
Funniest joke. Yeah, no. I'm add me to the list.
Totally good. You're all good. Ren wants to know, what's your favorite weird food combination?
Pepperoni sticks and peanut butter.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
How did that come about? When did you start doing that?
Just one night I like going just like a late night snack. I made a peanut butter sandwich and pepperoni and some peanut butter, but I actually got on my pepperoni stick for one bite, so I ate that one bite and actually kind of enjoyed it. So
that's funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So Hallie wants to know, pick 2 best players from your favorite team. As you mentioned earlier, the Oilers, and so obviously too obvious there. Now you have to trade one and keep the other. Who and why?
Trading Darnell Nurse.
Okay.
And you're obviously keeping McDavid.
Sure. Yeah. Where would you want to see Nurse play? What team would you send him to?
New Jersey.
Okay, that'd be cool. Nice. Last but not least for you, then I'll let you go. What is a message that you have for Americans fans?
Honestly, just thank you for making my last junior year one heck of a year. I think just like last week I did autographs, and I think everyone made a comment to just like how thankful they were to watch me play and just to see me, or how they commented on my game. And it was just so appreciative, like how many people like actually care about the game and like stuff like that. And it was truly an honor to talk to all those people and like get treated like that. And I'm very appreciative of it very much. And it was just it was awesome to see and awesome to be a part of.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jalen. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me a bit.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
Best of luck the rest of the season. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much to Andrew Fan, Jalen Luypen, and the Tri-City Americans organization. Really appreciate you guys for helping me out with these interviews. Of course, they were awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to be caught up on all the WHL news for the past week, feel free to check in next week's episode every Tuesday at 7 p.m. PST. If you want to follow along with any commentary that I have on the WHL or just want to chat with me, make sure you follow me on Twitter. I'm very active there and would love to chat with anybody who likes the WHL. Definitely a good place to be. And if you want to see anybody specifically, any players, any WHL staff, feel free to reach out and I will do my best to accommodate those requests. Really appreciate you guys for watching and for tuning in every week. You guys are awesome, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you.